I came to Nigeria at the age of 7, where I had my yearly education and my first degree at University of Ife.
Obafemi Awolowo University.
It's now Obafemi Awolowo, but in those days it was University of Ife. After that, I had my own business.
You studied what?
I studied food science. Okay. Yeah. In those days, when you have parties, it's the housewives that does the cooking. But in the early 80s, when I finished, I said, hang on, I can make a living with this. You don't need to stress yourself out. Then I started this small business by empowering women to know how to cook. As time goes on, I said, let me upgrade myself. I just saw this advert, British Airways. I said, whoa, Airways? I just applied for it. Luckily, I was the only black at that interview. And they found it strange for a black person to hold that type of qualification, because they were looking for a head chef in the pastry departments. In those days, British Airways normally do their food for their clients, for the flights, when the world was still itself. I have nephews, I have nieces that have finished from the university. It's a very sad thing. They are just walking aimlessly on the streets, adding more burden to the parents who have struggled to train these children with the hope that one day they will rest. The children will go to work and fend for them. But it's the other way around. If you are not self-disciplined, you will steal. If you are not self-disciplined, you will lie. If you are not self-disciplined, you will deviate. But it takes only the grace of God to sustain, to keep you standing.
Okay, let's quickly go back. From your profile, Alan, you worked with British Airways when you were young. So can you tell us the experience and at what time did you go into the aviation, and at what time did you decide to relocate abroad, and how did you get the job, and what were you doing then?
What happened is that I wasn't born in this country. I was born in Manchester. I came to Nigeria at the age of 7, where I had my yearly education and my first degree at University of Ife.
Obafemi Awolowo University.
It's now Obafemi Awolowo, but in those days it was University of Ife. After that, I had my own business.
You studied what?
I studied food science.
Okay.
Yeah. I had to go to some technical colleges to do some practical aspects.
Okay.
Because, you know, in Africa, most especially in Nigeria, we believe in practical aspects.
Practicality.
That's it. I had the practical aspects at Davos Institute of Hotel and Catering Sciences. I had my national insurance, National Youth Service call at the Eco Holiday Inn, which is now Eco La Meridian. Yes. After serving, I had to start my own business in Ibadan at Oyo State. Originally, it was Stokes Catering Services. In those days, when you have parties, it's the housewives that does the cooking. But in the early 80s, when I finished, I said, hang on, I can make a living with this. You don't need to stress yourself out. Then I started this small business by empowering women to know how to cook. When they have parties, we go there to cook. They hire us with our instruments. I could remember I was based in Ibadan, and a friend of mine, Yemi Catering, was based in Lagos.
Those days?
In those days. She started it in Lagos. I started it in Ibadan. I'm talking of around 84, 85, 86.
Those are very long years.
That's it.
That maybe it was daring challenge then, it was daring maybe a different endeavor entirely.
The challenges is, you know, human beings, they don't like changes.
It's true.
They will say, oh, because they've got so many housewives. When I say housewives, women, their brothers' wives, their uncles' wives, their mothers, they will do the cooking. How come can they pay a caterer? They even have it at the back of their mind that, oh, a caterer will come, will take all your food, all the good bats, blah, 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 blah. But as the trend was going, they noticed that, oh, the stress is no more there. The caterer will cook, hand it over to them. In those days, there were not even servers. We just cook, we give it to them, they serve their things. First year, second year, and the business started picking. And we started having so many people trooping into that business.
So you started the revolution?
We started the revolution, me and Yemi Catering Services. She's based in Lagos, I was based in Ibadan. And you know, Ibadan, Oyo State and Lagos State in those days was the most top states in Nigeria.
Those are the happening cities then?
That's it. If you haven't been to Ibadan or Lagos State, while you are in Nigeria, you have not been to your own London. So as time goes on, I put in pastry. I'm a good baker. So I do wedding cakes, snacks, and different types of things. If there is no catering for the weekend, Monday to Friday, we do our pastry stuffs. When I say pastry stuffs, we do the puff-puff, the donuts, the buns. So we have bicycle boys that comes and buy it from us. Large quantity, they go out and sell. So from there, the business started taking one thing or the other. As of that time, things were not as easy as nowadays. Eventually, Nigeria was becoming to turn something else. But to God be the glory, because I was born abroad, I just woke up one day and said, well, let me go on holidays.
You dusted your paper and decided to take a holiday?
That's it. I just said I'm coming for holidays. And that's how I left.
What were the initial signs that you saw that make you to start having a kind of a bit of disbelief about Nigeria?
Electricity and water. And you know, those are the two major aspects for a good caterer. We cannot buy to preserve in the fridge or freezers anymore. We cannot walk during the night anymore. We have to depend on diesels, generators. We have to be going to the market on the day of the events.
Pressure.
Too much pressure. So I said, well, the day is still young. I still have a full life ahead of me. Just let me go on holidays. And that was it.
So the holiday now turned to staying away.
That's it. Getting back, I said, hang on. What am I going back for? In Nigeria, lights 24 hours, water, everything. Facilities are there. No stress, nothing, blah, blah, blah. Said, well, Dad, I'm not coming back again. I'll be coming home on holidays.
Intervals.
That's it. And that's as far back as 91, 92. And that's how I started a new life entirely. When I say a new life, you know, when you relocate or migrate, you have to start again.
All over.
All over.
So why didn't you go back into catering? I think you went to London and you didn't want to resuscitate your catering business, so you changed?
No. I continued with my catering business.
In the UK?
Yes, but I have to do their own exams. With my degree, I have to start to upgrade myself. In those days, it wasn't called events planning and entertainment. It was called catering and hotel management sciences. So you have to do the food hygiene tests, the catering and hygiene tests, and a lot of things. I started work with a company called Sutcliffe Catering. We cater for lawyers, a big firm. We do their breakfast, lunch, and their dinner. As time goes on, I said, let me upgrade myself. I just saw this advert, British Airways. I said, oh, Airways? I just applied for it. Luckily, I was the only black at that interview. And they found it strange for a black person to hold that type of qualification. Because they were looking for a head chef in the pastry departments. In those days, British Airways normally do their food for their clients, for the flights. When the world was still itself, before the first recession. Thank God, I passed the interview, the test, the training, everything went well. If it's Nigeria, I wouldn't have been able to have the opportunity to get that position.
Why do you say so, ma'am?
Because it is not what you are, it is who you know in Nigeria. And that is it up till this present moment. And it can never change. It's not that I'm cursing.
Can never change. That's a sad statement.
Yes.
Why can't you pray for it to change, man?
With all these things that are happening.
I'm also sad, man. Everybody is sad.
In those days, I could remember the story that my father told me. He was the first salesman of the Bata shop at Ojota.
This same famous butter.
Yes.
Where when we buy butter, I know that we smell it and it smells butter.
Yes. In 1961, my father was the first salesman. He said he finished his education. Before he wrote his papers, the job is already waiting for him. Can that happen now?
Almost impossible, man. Really, you are right.
I have nephews, I have nieces that have finished from the university. It's a very sad thing. They are just walking aimlessly on the streets, adding more burden to the parents who have struggled to train these children with the hope that one day they will rest. The children will go to work and fend for them. But it's the other way around. So that is why I said that interview that I went for with British Airways, if it's here, I would not have been able to get that job. But to God be the glory.
So you got the job?
I got the job.
How did you feel that moment they told you you won?
I was all over the moon. As of that time, I wasn't even knowing that I'm going to be the only black among other colors. I started, but because of the country, you cannot discriminate.
Standards.
That's it. Whether you are black or white, Asian, whatever, we are all human beings in the sight of God. That was the highest favor I received during that time.
Which year was that?
I'm talking of 95, 96. So
you got the job?
Yes, I got the job.
British Airways?
British Airways.
That's one of the leading world-class airline companies.
Yes, yes. Even among my colleagues, they thought, Frances, you joke a lot. We that have been in London have not done that type of job. You came how many years now telling us that you got a job at British Airways? I said I got a job. But as God will make it, after 2 years in that department, they had to close the department down, the catering department, because there was a recession that time.
Just like most airlines are doing now.
That's it. They had to close that department down. They retrenched those who they wanted to retrench, but I had favor.
Again?
Yes, I had another.
How did you do it? Without having a boyfriend there, no man?
Boyfriend, no godfather, no godmother. They just sent out a decree that if you know you are a degree holder, you can apply for other opportunities within the BA. We call it internal advertisements. That one doesn't go external. And I said, no problem. Let's see what you have on offer. And they said in the ticketing departments, they are looking for ticketing officers to issue tickets. You know, in those days, they issue tickets manually, not e-tickets like this.
Okay.
Yep. I applied for it because they are closing down our departments. They didn't even ask me any question during the interview. They just said, you've been with us for over 2.5 years. You don't need any interview. Your start date is so and so. And that is how.
That's how you just got your next level.
My next level. That was the beginning of the highest moments. Because to get into the reservation department, British Airways, you will pay the price.
It's a premium task.
That's it. Most especially black. So because I am a black person, they don't want them to be seeing black faces on the reception desk. So they had to use diplomacy. They put me at the back office to be attending.
That's interesting.
To the staffs.
I understand.
When I say staffs, BA staffs.
That's staff within staff.
Staff within staff.
Oh, God.
That's diplomacy. It happens everywhere. Because they know if they sack me, I will win. I will become a multimillionaire. Because they know that I'm learned and...
That is on industrial action. You become a rich person.
That's it.
Demand for industrial rights.
That's it. So, and that was the beginning.
And how was the experience being a premium ticketing officer in that kind of kida?
I was known worldwide because I deal with staff. Anywhere that British Airways has their office.
In the world?
In the whole world. I became a brand name. People didn't even know that I'm a Nigerian. When they hear Frances Oyewole, they will think she's a white lady married to a Nigerian man. Not until when they see me one-on-one. Even some didn't even believe when they saw me, because I have a way of doing my hair that time in a Rasta form. So they think I'm a Jamaican woman. Because I wouldn't say any Nigerian language. I will speak with you with English. English tonation. So they get confused. But by saying the name, they will say, oh, she's a Jamaican lady married to a Nigerian man. Not until I spoke Yoruba one day. They were just
astounded.
That, wow, so this woman is a Nigerian woman. I said, I'm a Nigerian woman. Along the line, when they wanted to invent the e-tickets, the online services, I was one of the top officials sent to Germany to be trained how to set the e-ticketing on system.
You went for that higher training too?
Yes.
That's for the e-technology?
The technology. Once you get into British Airways, to get in is the problem. The moment you get in and you climb the ladder, sky is the highest. You can spread your tentacles
anywhere.
Anywhere. So I was one of the top 6 scholars that they sent down to Germany to do the training. If I had known that the training I'm going for, once we set it up on the system, they are going to lay us off like chickens, I wouldn't have gone for the training. But as I've said earlier, man proposes, God disposes.
I knew it happened in the bank too. Some people were sent to go and train about the card, ATM card, and eventually they were the one telling us, come and take your card, come and take your card. Then the next time we go to the branch, we didn't see them again.
That's it. As of that time, I've been seeing signs, I've been receiving messages. It's time to do God's work. And I always tell God, you know, my child is still small. Give me a little grace. I'm not denying, because I know I have the anointing on my head that I'll be serving you. Give me more time. At least allow me to have my son to graduate before I can do your work. I keep on receiving messages. I keep on hearing voices. It's not that I turned deaf ear, but I was just telling God, just give me the grace. At least to acquire the necessary things in life. Because when I was young, I don't like the way I see prophets and prophetesses, that they depend on people before they survive. So I have already had it at the back of my mind that if ever that is going to happen, God should give me the grace to walk and acquire, to be comfortable, me and my husband, so I wouldn't depend on somebody before I can do anything good in life. God was just looking at me. Now continue. I went for that training quite all right.
In Germany?
Yes. I lead the team.
You led the team, ma?
That's it.
That's the grace of God.
I came back to Great Britain. We set up everything on the 1st of February, year 2000. Everything was up and running.
That is the e-ticketing system.
The online system.
Online system came alive.
Came alive. So we now started to be training each other, training passengers, that you don't need to come to us in the office anymore. You can do it online. We did that 3-4 years. Everything was successful. The next thing I saw, they just closed down our departments. And that was the beginning of the end.
For a fantastic job, a wonderful, thriving career, and a, what can I call it, a spilling, rolling, exciting experience.
That's it.
The end came.
The end came. They laid us off. No problem. I went home.
How did you feel that day when you got the letter of exit? After working roughly for 10 years, isn't that?
It's more than 10 years.
More than 10 years.
Yeah. I got home that day. I just went into my fridge and I picked up a big bottle of stout, opened it, drank it, and just slept. That's it. I woke up the following day as usual. Then reality now dawned on me.
Maybe you try to use the stouts to cover the reality.
And as if
nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
So when the reality now dawned on you, did you try to take another stout or you just face the reality?
No. I just sat down. I said, God, what's the way forward?
You started communicating with God directly now. Now there's room for engagement with God.
I went to church. I normally go to church. So the first Wednesday, which was the following week, I just went for the Shiloh service. And I started attending to people. And that's how everything started.
You were arrested immediately and you started attending to be prophetically.
Because since I've known that I'll be doing his work. Funny enough, before I took up the mantle, I applied to so many jobs. With all the experiences I had, they will say, you are over the job, you are too professional, we can't afford to pay you. He went to a stage, I said, pay me anything. Okay, let me do it for free, which is impossible.
Just to be engaged.
Just to be engaged. You know, an idle hand.
The devil's workshop.
That's it.
A devil's itinerary workshop.
That's it. And I said, no problem. I was looking at my certificate, took catering services. Then I just went to print. In between, while I was working, I still do my cooking, I do my sewing, I do my baking. But I do it as leisure, not as full-time. But when the source of income has been terminated, then I picked up from where I dropped it from to start.
So you resuscitated your old talents.
That is it. So my old talent was catering and hotel services. I go to church, I do my job, everything. I do the admin, I coordinate anniversaries. When the new church wants to spring up abroad, they will come for consultation. Mommy, what can we do? What day do you think we can do our anniversary that will not collide or disturb other people? Then I will look into the diary. A is on this Sunday. This Sunday is free. The next Wednesday. So from there, I started doing the calendars. And that was how everything came into place. Again. In between, I went back to the university. You know, changes come at intervals. They said they don't want the name catering and hotel management sciences. They've changed it to events. Event management, planning and entertainment.
Event management, planning and entertainment. That was a new name for that industry.
That's it.
Okay. You went for a school, a reorientational class?
Yes, I went to the university.
Full university?
Full university.
Jesus Christ, that's a whole lot of job.
Yes.
4 years?
Yes.
That's a lot of job. That's invention.
Yes. At the end of the day, I had another BSc in events management.
Will you say, well, maybe God was telling you to do that before he took you off British Airways, or it was just a kind of coincidence?
Well, I believe it's destiny.
Destiny.
Your destiny cannot be changed. Because if they haven't terminated my appointment with British Airways, maybe I would have become one of the managers. Maybe I wouldn't have done God's work.
I think that's the point, really.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll have been elevated to a premium position that will deny you association with God at the lowest rung.
That's it. And since I've been carrying the mantle of God, if I tell you, all the cars that I was unable to drive while I was in active service, I've driven them.
God himself purchased them for you.
That's it.
Through what you do.
Money, physical money that I bought for myself. While I was in active service, I always go to auction to buy second-hand cars. But since I have started God's work, I buy new cars that I tear the nylon of the cars by myself. Not cash down, but instrumental. But it is brand new.
I remember the song of Chief Commander Ibn Zobe. He said, Aiboluwa showo kamajere, Aiboluwa showo kamajere, ere owo aje aje niyawo, ere owo aje aje niyawo.
Sirombe. There is no lie in that song.
That's interesting.
So walking with God, I can testify.
Working with God is profitable.
It's profitable. I had peace of mind in everything that surrounded me. Everything.
But let me even take you to the other side. What are the challenges of even working with God? Because the good thing is that it is good to work with God, it's profitable, but what is the other side like?
The other side is, it's a bit tempting.
How do you mean?
If you are not sincere to yourself, I can take myself as an example. I'm on £48,000 per annum salary. Before any tips, before any addition. My take home is 6,000 in pounds every month. That is after tax, after everything. And I ended up, the job is no more there. And the little bits and bobs that I am doing, my sewing, my cooking, my driving, everything, doesn't clock up to that.
That amount?
That amount. If you are not self-disciplined, you will steal. If you are not self-disciplined, you will lie. If you are not self-disciplined, you will deviate. But it takes only the grace of God to sustain, to keep you standing.
Before we round up, when you are given a chance to give advice to young people of today, I mean, young ladies especially, people that are growing into married life, people that are growing into career line, and you are in a ballroom and you have the microphone to give an advice, a lot of people feel that success is all about having a sugar daddy, I mean, that's going to buy a house for them in GRA, Magodo, or Banana Island, or VGC, somebody that's going to buy them G-Wagon. Most of the actresses are buying G-Wagons now, buying a lot of things in a rush lifestyle, fast lane. If you have a chance to talk to upgrowing ones, what are you going to tell them, especially about life, looking at your own time when you were growing up, when hard work and creativity and innovation was a hallmark?
If you see, fingers are not equal.
It appears so, man. Yeah, fingers are not equal. Yeah.
That's how God created it. Some can scale through by luxury of life, by meeting a rich guy or sugar daddy. That's their own destiny. Some have to work before they can eat. Everything is not on bed of roses. But what I believe in is your handwork. Even if it's ordinary water that you are selling, at the end of the day, you will reach your destination.
According to God's dictates?
According to God's wishes. But if you are trying to cut corners, you can fall by the roadside, which will not allow you to get to your destination. If I go and follow a rich man or a sugar daddy, maybe they could have turned me to money machine.
Money machine?
Then, wọ́n lè ti fi mí gọ́ṣẹ́. Kan ti lò mí fún rituals.
You just be in a permanent wardrobe in one of their houses.
That's it. And when they are calling Tokunbo, money will be bọ́n dẹ̀ fi mí ṣòwò, wọ́n lè pa kádàrá mi dà. So, one thing I want to say to we young ladies of nowadays is that àtẹ́lẹwọ́ ẹni kì í tàn ní jẹ. Ó lè pẹ́ o, ó lè jìn o, ṣùgbọ́n ó di dandan, a ó délẹ̀ ìlérí wa.
A ó dé ilẹ̀ ìlérí.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Bó pẹ́ bóyá.
Bó pẹ́ bóyá. Torí pé kí ni asúré tètè kò ní kọjá ilé, arìngbẹ̀rẹ̀ kò dẹ̀ ní sùn ẹ̀bá ọ̀nà. Slow and steady wins the race. So automatically, we are going to get to our destination.